Welcome, foolish mortals, to spooky season.
When I smiled in her direction, she didn't smile back. There's something really wrong with this mirror. I woke up when I heard a tap on the glass. At first I thought it was the window, until I heard it again, from the mirror. My creepy next-door neighbor died last week. I'd say I was relieved, if I didn't still catch him looking through my windows. I tried to give blood the other day. Never again. Too many questions. Whose blood is it? Where did you get it? Why is it in a bucket? Growing up with cats and dogs, I grew accustomed to being awakened by the sound of scratching on my door. The sound is much more disturbing, now that I live alone. I used to hate the sound of crickets outside the lonely farmhouse. And every time they go silent, I know the thing is passing by, and I pray for them to chirp again. I decided to kill off a few characters in the book I'm writing. It should definitely spice up this autobiography a little. People always ask how many kids come to my house for trick-or-treating. No one ever asks how many leave. Yet another couple came in through the door, and I hurried to get a table ready, sighing, "Weekends are always so busy. Car accidents, murders, drug overdoses. It's always the worst shift in the morgue." I kept hearing a strange giggle coming from my TV, regardless of what channel or volume was on. I never thought to check behind the TV. "Now be careful. That line of rock salt is the only thing keeping them out," the man said, as he welcomed my group to his refuge. "Sea salt," I clarified. "Sea salt keeps us out." They began celebrating the first successful cryogenic freezing. I had no way of telling them I was still conscious. My daughter woke me around midnight last night. "Daddy," she whispered, tugging at my sleeve, "guess how old I'm going to be next month." And then she held up 4 fingers. She still refuses to tell us where she got them. I hate it when my brother Charlie has to go away. My parents constantly try to explain to me how sick he is. When I complain about how bored I am without a little brother to play with, they try to make me feel bad by pointing out that his boredom likely far surpasses mine, considering his confinement to a dark room at an institution. I always beg for them to give him one last chance. Of course they did at first. Charlie has been back home several times, each shorter than the last. Every time, without fail, it all starts again. The neighborhood cat showing up in his toy chest. My dad's razors found dropped on the baby sled in the park. My mom's vitamins replaced with dishwasher tablets. My parents are hesitant now, using last chances only sparingly. They say his disorder makes him charming, makes it easy for him to fake normalcy, and to trick the doctors who care for him into thinking that he's ready for rehabilitation. And that I'll just have to put up with my boredom if it means staying safe from him. I hate it when Charlie goes away. It makes me have to pretend to be good until he's back. The hiker decided to go on a hike by himself. Nothing seemed strange during the day, until he was making his way back to the car. The sky was already getting dark, and he needed to get back. Fast. What was odd was how much he didn't recognize the trail back. He began to panic. Night had already taken over, and all he had was a flashlight, and no clue how to get back. He knew it was too dangerous to keep going through the perilous forest when he stumbled across a broken-down cabin. It was dark, and seemed like no one had visited in years, but it was likely the only place where he could rest until daylight, especially with his flashlight running low. He knocked on the door, but no one answered. He let himself in. He got comfortable as he could and tried to sleep, but he couldn't ignore the collection of paintings around the room. They were portraits of strange-looking people, all peering at him, each wearing a smile that sent chills up his spine. Eventually, exhaustion took over, and he fell asleep. The next morning he got up early and saw there were no portraits, only windows.